Right, welcome and good afternoon, everyone. So welcome Lee, welcome Kasum, Zam, Faris, and also CCW. So thank you for joining our free online lesson. Right, so for this topics, I would like to share with you about the isometrics and also orthographic projection that you can do inside AutoCAD, which is AutoCAD 2D. Right, so welcome Daniel. Right, so thank you everyone for joining our free online lessons. Right, so today's agenda, basically we're going to create a two types of view in AutoCAD 2D, which is the orthographic projection and also the isometric view. So orthographic projection basically means we create a few view which represent a few types of direction that we can look at. For example, we want to draw the top view from the objects, the front view, and also the side view. Basically, a few representation view for the object. So and then we have the isometric view. So isometric view basically is a representation of 3D object but in 2D. So we're going to create these two, which is create a few view, and then let's say we have that multiple view, and we're going to combine that one into one isometric view. So let me just share my screen. So we're going to start and create the orthographic projection. So welcome Faris and Daniel. All right, so welcome Arif Lanum Junkai. So I believe I can start now. So let's say what I have here is the samples from isometric view, and what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take some of this information and creating a few view which represent the top view, the front view, and also the right view. So basically, I'm going to start draw from here. Oh, sorry. I'm going to start draw from the front view, and then I'm going to start create the side view and also the top view from here. So basically, this is the particular view that I'm going to take out and create. So with this, we can start by creating the first view first. Let me just clear everything. So for the orthographic projection, to make it easier for the view to be projected to another view, such as the top view and also the side view, so it is best we have some lines, which is the projection line. So I'm going to create a layer first, so I can differentiate between the lines. So I have created the dimension line, which is for dimensioning, the object line, which is my current object over here. So I make it a little bit thicker so I can see it a little bit clearly when I start to draw. So my object line is continuous with the line weight of 0.3. And now I'm going to create another line, which is the projection line. And the projection line, I'm going to give it the color of cyan. But the projection line will not be very visible, so I'm going to give it transparency around 60. Then another line which divided between these few views, so I'm going to create a let's say construction line. I'm going to give it a red. Now this projection and construction line, so I want my line to be on default. So let me just change it back. And the transparency for the construction should be say around only 20. So or maybe no transparent also can. So let me just give 20. And I also wanted to create a hidden line. So there are some other areas that I might not be able to see. So that will be the hidden. Let me give it yellow. And then the hidden line will have a transparency around, let's say, 40 with the line types of hidden line. So I have a few layers created and ready to be used. So right now I'm going to start with creating an object first. So the first view, I'm going to start draw the front view, which is already been shown over here. So I'm going to start creating. So let me just turn on my auto. So the side view should be around 50, 20, and I'm going to start draw from the base. So it should be around 60s before we add some circles over there. So this height should be 15s. And let me just draw rest. And we have over here, starting from the base over here, which is 35. Connected over here, and I can delete it over here. And then we have additional 15 right on the top over here, on the front over here. So I'm going to create another, which is 15, 15 here, and we should have lastly, which is the circle over here. So I'm going to draw a circle, should be around 30 from there. Then from here, the circle should be around the radius of 10. So let me just give it 10. Then I can just trim out and delete here. So we also have this hidden line over here. So I may want to create a hidden line also. So let me just add in some hidden lines. Right, so I made a mistake over here. It's actually, we also have this one option over here, which is currently not created that one. So let me just create a dimension over here. Linear dimension. Align dimension. Okay, around 15. So let me just create this line first with the object line 50, and connect it to this point over here. So basically, this is what we have. Lastly, just creating the hidden line over here. So that one will change to hidden line, and we have the distance of 10 from the back. So I'm going to create 10 from here and up until here. So let me just trim that one out, and then we have our, oops, okay, so I made a mistake over here. This 10. Okay, so we have our front view with the hidden line created over here. Now the next thing that we want to do is that we want to create a projection line that will allow us to easily create the top view and also the front view. So not only that this will be able to align perfectly the shape, but also allow you to skip some of this dimension that you that already be projected. Now for using the projection and to create a construction line, so there are some lines that I want to use, which is from the draw over here. So we have construction line and also a ray line that we have over here. So we just check, create back construction. So let me create construction. So for the construction line, so what it does is that it's actually creating a line and infinite lines without any ending. So that is the construction line. So the other one, we also have what we call as a ray line. So ray line basically create the same things, but only on one direction only. So basically it is an infinite line, but only on one direction. The construction line and also this ray line is actually trimmable, so you can edit. So if I wanted to edit this one, for example, so let me just go ahead and check on the properties. On the properties, it says over here, this is X line, which means construction line. So if I trim this line, so if I click again, so it's going to turn into ray line. So basically it's going to create ray line, something like here. So if I trim another one, again, we just trim this one out, and it will now turn into a normal line. So the construction line and also the ray line can be trimmed out, so we can easily edit it out. Right. So from here, I'm going to create the formal views to easily differentiate between top and also the right view. So for that, I'm going to click construction line. And I'm going to use the construction here, and so that I'm easily able to divide on which area. So I'm just going to use the auto mode. So I have divided 3 more sections over here. So you don't necessarily need to create a construction line over here. You can still create orthographic without this 2 lines over here, but you need to have a line which is a 45-degree line. So this will allow you to easily align from the side view to the top view and vice versa. So for this case, this particular line need to have a 45 degrees. So I'm going to click tabs and click 45. So you only need to click 45, so you cannot create 30s or some other angles or like 60s, because that when you try to project the lines and it will mirror to the left, so the size might not be accurate. So to make sure the size is accurate, make sure that the angle that being used is 45 degrees. Over here until it is 45. Right, so we already have this construction line created over here. So let me just delete this one. We don't need. Just trim it out. Now I want to create the side view next. Now to do that, I can skip a few sketching methods by using a projection line. So basically, projection will project the size of this, so I don't need to create the size anymore. Now I have selected projections. Let me select gray lines, and I'm going to project to the other side. So make sure to turn on auto, so my line will be projected correctly from there. Let me just turn on quadrant as well. Right, so basically something like this. So now I can start to draw from the front view. Now from the front view, we can start from the bottom. So we have 25 over here and also 25. So I can start anywhere from here. So to do that, I need to use a object snap with the nearest. So next time when I try to draw, so it's able to snap on the nearest line over there. So we just select objects, and I'm going to select over here. Now I want to make sure that when I try to move, it does not accidentally click and become this angle over here. So I want to move straight up. So make sure if you want that, make sure to turn on the perpendicular as well, because when I try to move up, it will automatically show this perpendicular and it will allow you to snap on that. Now we have that, so I'm going to click this based on the bottom over here first. So as you can see, I don't need to input the length, which is 15 over here, because we already taken from here, the projection. So I just need to make sure to click some of the sign that have not yet created. 25 over here, so I can just set the button, also 25. Oops. Right, so front view over here, and then we also have this straight up over here. So from here, we can just start draw from the left, and it will have the distance of 15. So I'm going to create a line with 15 and straight up perpendicularly. And this should have the distance of 20. So let me just input 20 over here and just snap perpendicularly downwards. Now I just need to create some of these other areas, and I can easily create it just by snapping on several lines from here. Lastly, we have some hidden line at the back and also below over here. So let me just turn on a hidden line. This one, let me just turn on for intersection so that I can connect the intersection here. And the hidden line over here at the back should have the distance 10 from the first line over here. So that way from here is 10. and I can just directly create from the bottom of here, and the same goes with this one, and directly from the bottom of here. Let me just delete that one. Okay, so we already have the front view and also the side view, and lastly we want to create the top view. So for that, I'm going to project again to the top view. So for that, I'm going to select projections and creating the ray line from here and project upwards, including this hidden line. So this one should be the same, so I don't need to project that one anymore. So that part has already been done. And another one is the side view that I want to project to the top view. Again, make sure this line over here is 45 degrees, so it will be have the same angle from the top and also at the bottom over here. So for that, when you create the ray line, make sure to have the distance, the angle of the 45. So I'm going to create that and enter 45. So it will be 45 degrees. So let me just click again, projection, and I'm going to project upwards, straight up. This one also project upwards. And also this one. So once I have projected upwards, when it touches this line over here, so I can project on the left, on the top view over here. So we have the connection between these two. So for that, let me just trim this one out. I'm going to project to the left. Now that we have created on the left view, so you can see the combination between these two lines. So all we need to do is that just creating the lines, just connecting between these intersection lines. So I'm going to create an object, create a line, just simply connect this line right here. Basically from here, I'm going to have something like here, and then connecting at the back over here, there should be from this line over here. So connect that line, same goes with this one. This one should be end until here, so I'm going to use that line, connect to this line. So I already have that, this top face over here. And now we're going to construct the next one. So this, this particular line, so which will be end until here. And we have this some angles over here, which starting from here and end right at the middle over here. So lines from here, and it will end from the middle of here up until here. Right, so we have that. This one just simply a straight connection, and same goes with the top and the back. Last thing I need to do is that I may need to create a hidden line at the bottom over here. So for that, we already have. So I'm going to change to hidden line, creating the lines over here up until here, and also release this point over here up until here. So we already have that. So to clean out a bit, so I just create some line over here, which I can trim this one up with that. Okay, so let me just trim that. And we already create this orthographic projection, which we have the top view, the front view, and also this side view. So if I don't want to see some of this, so I can just simply turn it off. So I'm going to turn off the projection, and we have this front side and also top. So if I don't want to see hidden, so I can turn off the hidden as well. We have this 3 different view, which is aligns perfectly. So that is orthographic projection. It's very simple. We have the other one, which is an isometric view, which is something like here we have to see it. So if I have some information from the left side over here, we have the top, front, and side view, and we want to combine these three into isometric view. Now to do that, we have additional tools inside of AutoCAD, which right over here we have ISO draft. So if that's not on, from here you can just go back to the customization and make sure to turn on the isometric drafting, okay? And this one will be shown. So if I drop down over here, we have three different isometrics. So what it does is going to turn my grid over here into an ISO view. So if I click and turn on, then you will see my backgrounds. My background grid has been tilted into an ISO. If I try to draw normally, nothing happens. I can still just draw normally. But if I turn on the auto mode, so it will allow me to create a straight line according to my grid at the back. So if I have this, so if I want to create isoplane top, so I just click isoplane top. I have this isoplane top that will be locked. So if I want to click right, just click right, and then you can simply change the face over here. So let's start draw from here. Right. So I'm going to start draw from the front side over here. So that will be 15. Okay. So let me just change my view first. Let's say I submit top 15, and then the line over here, which is 15 as well. Now, if I take a look, this one should be straight triangle, something like here. So with the length of 15, so we just draw upwards. So I cannot do upward from here. So let me just change into an isoplane right. So now I can slide upwards. Let's say around 15 or so. Okay, so I needed to create another straight line over there on the left. So let me just turn it to isoplane left, and then this one should be 15 as well. And then I just simply just need to connect. Oops. Let me just turn off the nearest. So I just need it to connect. Then we have something like here. So that is the first step, which is this front over here. So we have another one at the back and also at the front over here. We have some curve, and we're going to create that as well. So let's say I'm going to continue with the curve over here. On this particular curve, so we have a radius around 15, so that will be something like this, 15, and let's say another one. Oops, let me just change the top into 15. Okay. You should have this 15 circle over here, right? So if you're using the normal circles, you don't have the circle which is using the ISO where that look isometrics. In order to do that, you needed to use what we call as a ellipse, and downward from the ellipse, you need to use axis. You cannot use centers or elliptical arc. You need to use axis end, because on this axis end we have an additional option, which is iso circle. So this will allow you to create ellipse with isometric with the background. So if I turn off my iso draft and I use axis end, no iso ellipse is turned on. So if I turn on iso draft and I click again, so we have this iso circle. So which if I try to draw, it will, oops, let me just click axis end, iso circle. So if I try to draw, it will try to follow my background grid, which is the isometric grid over here. So if I change to isoplane left, so let me just click here first, and then I change to, oops, I change to left, iso circle, and then we have that will be follow on the left grid over here. So we can use this. So for this, I'm going to turn into iso top. Okay, so that one should be, let me just copy. So the the center point should be around here, which is at the end over here. So I'm going to use axis end, isocircles, and from here connecting to the end right over here. So we have that. So this one we can delete. So let me just trim first, and let me just trim the other one as well, and then I can just simply delete from here. So we have that, and we also have one at the top over here. So if you see, this is basically here, oops, this line, which is this line over here, which is straight. So I'm going to copy upwards. Oops. Okay, so we have that. And then let me just continue. So we have this straight line. So that one should be around 15. So let me just create 15. Also at the bottom over here, 15. And then this should connect straight up. And we were having this another curve from here. So this downward here, this base here should be straight. So I can still fit a straight over here. So that will be 15 also. And then we needed to create a curve. So for that, I'm going to change into a right isoplane. So that will be an isoplane left. And I'm going to create an axis end with an isocircle. Just simply connect until here, and then we can just trim it out. Now, from here, we have the straight lines that we can create. So this one should be around 15, right? So which is this one, 15. So let me just change my isoplane tops, around 15. And at the top over here, so also the same, so 15 as well. And just to create this one, I can just simply copy that again. Just copy and combine up here. So we have that. And then I can continue creating at the back as well. So I'm just going to create here, right at the back. So we should have 15 from here. So starting from here at the top of here, 30 minus should be 15 as well. So I'll just create the straight lines. Let me just change plate. 15. This one is 15. 15. And then just, oops, this one should be 30. So let me just add another 15 and click up until here. Then I can trim it out. So we have that, and just creating something at the back. This one should be around, so this one should be around 30. Let me just add 30 over here, 15. And this one should be upwards. So from here, so we have this one, which is a little bit higher from here. So that will be around 15, the height. So I'm going to add isoplane left with the 15. And also this one 15 as well, and also at the back, which 15 it's 9. And lastly, I needed to connect this one, and we should have this connecting between this one. Before we creating the last one, we have these two more circles. So let me just change my spin left. Just combine between these two. And from here, and then should connect up until here. Now we already have that. And lastly, we should have this circle over here. So for that, if you take a look over here, it should have the same center point from 15 over here and also 15 right over here. So it should be from here. Oops. Let me just turn into a super top. So basically, it should have the same center point with this one. This one already have the center point. So I just needed to create a isoplane with the isocircles, connecting with this one with the radius of 10. So this one is shown with the diameter 20, so the radius of 10. And then the height of this is 5. So that one I just needed to create a straight line upwards 5. Same with this one, 5. And then just simply copy this one before I can trim this one out. Oops, okay, just undo that one. And lastly, we have this inner circle over here. So this one should be a hole of 15. So we already have center point. So just use this with the S on the top, axis end with the iso circles from here. This one should be the radius of 5. So we have that. Now you can continue if you want with the hidden line and so on. So I don't have hidden line created yet, so we're going to skip that one. But let's say you wanted to create a dimensioning on this line over here. So the best way to do that is that you will be using a line. So if I'm using that, if I'm using the linear, so I won't have the correct size. So that will be a line. So let me just create some few lines over here. Now, one thing that you may notice is that we have some problems over here is that I want my line to be straight line with the other line that will be touched with this dimension line. So if I want my dimension line to follow this line, or maybe this one to follow this one, maybe this one to follow this one. So for that case, we can use a command called dimension edit. So to do that, just type in DIN edit, which stands for dimension edit. Press enter, and over here you can select oblique, and then select the line that you require. So let's say this two line over here, and then I want it to oblique with this line to be straight following this line over here. So press enter. Whether I want to input the angles, or I can just simply select this 2 point until this point over here. So I have this line will be follow this line. So I can just continue. Let's say I want it again, and then I want to follow this line, and I want this line to follow this straight line over here. So I type dim edit, press enter, selecting the oblique. Let's say I want it to be this, so I have line connecting over here. So if you wanted to create the dimension from here, so you're going to have a problem. So you cannot create a dimension, the radius or diameter for the oblique. So you cannot do that. If I try, it won't allow me. So for that, you can just simply use leader and just input the value that you need it to be. Right. So for example, this one is the leader, which is the, it should have the radius of 10. So I just type R with a 10, and then I have created this kind of the dimension from here. So we just can use leader if you want to create some radius. So that is the orthographic and isometric projection that you can create inside of AutoCAD. But so far, is there any question that you like to ask regarding these two types of view? Right, so basically, you can use that method to create this type of view. Now, if you have any question, you can just type in the chat, or you can also unmute yourself. In the meantime, if you have a 3D object, so what we have created over here, which is 2D, we only created the 2D. If I try to move my view over here, you can see it's still flat, it's not 3D. But if you have 3D from here, for example, I have this 3D view, and I would like to create an orthographic and also an isometric view. So that will be a lot easier, a lot faster. All we need to do is that when we go to the layout, layout. So let me just delete this one. We have what we call as a create view. So if you drop down from the base, and then you can select from model space, which will take back this particular 3D view. You can also access it from the home tab over here. So we have the view, drop down, and I have from model space. So let me just click from model space, and it will take this view and selecting this object. When I press enter, it will ask me which layout that I want. So I just press enter again. And once I get inside here, I can just simply click exit, and that will allow me to create a few projection view and also isometric view at the same time. So once I'm done, so I can just right click and enter, and it will create this particular view for you. So that is if you have the 3D object. But if you have the 3D, the 2D object, so you can use this method I have shown you before, isometric orthographic projection, which you needed to create a projection line and also these 90-degree lines over here, and we can create this another two type of view, which is aligned with each other, and also this isometric view. So you can use this iso draft and use the auto mode to allow the line to be locked on the grid line. And then to create a circle for the ISO, so you can use this ellipse axis end, which will ask you to select the ISO circles that you can create an isometric view directly from the back. Right, so I believe that is all from me so far. I believe no questions. So thank you again for joining our free lesson. So we're going to stop up until here. So thank you for joining our free lesson for today. And I hope I can see you guys again on our next session. And take care and have a nice day. And bye-bye.